Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's ETA Prime back here again. Today we're going to be taking a look at the SteamOS powered version of the new Lenovo Legion Go S. And as you may know, Lenovo released two different variants of this. So we've got one with a Z2 Go APU, and that's the lower end model. But the one we're taking a look at actually has the AMD Z1 Extreme. So it's the highest end model that they offer right now, and I do think that this is a really good Steam Deck competitor. I also have the SteamOS version with the Z2 Go. That video will be coming up, but since I was able to get my hands on the Z1 Extreme, which is the one I was most excited about because I know this is going to outperform that Z2 Go, I figured we'd take a look at this one first. Inside of the box, obviously, you'll get the Legion Go S. We also get a 65-watt charger, and there's a stand, but you kind of got to build it, and it's made of cardboard. I always thought this was a pretty cool idea, and it does come included with this unit. The SteamOS version of the Legion Go S only comes in one color variant. We've got that Nebula Blue, but keep in mind, with the Windows versions, they're the same hardware internally, so you could always install SteamOS over there if you wanted a white one. But this Nebula Blue does look really nice. Around back, we've got the programmable macro keys and the locking triggers, and you can probably see it from here, but we've got some texture on the back of this thing. Same with the Windows version, it's just a bit harder to see it over there, so it's got a nice little grippy texture to it. Up top, we've got our exhaust vent, dual USB 4 ports, a 3.5mm audio jack, volume up, volume down, plus we've got our power button slash LED indicator, and this will change colors depending on what power mode you're in at any given time. I said it before with the Windows version, but I do think that the Legion Go S is one of the most comfortable handhelds on the market. Just kind of fits right in the palm there. I can reach all of the buttons just fine, and they did opt to use Hall-based triggers and Hall-based analog sticks, and as you can see, those analog sticks do have some RGB around them. Now, the SteamOS version isn't without its issues, and we'll talk about that in just a bit because I did run into some problems with it, and I think it just comes down to controller firmware. But you can see we've got those locking triggers. So if you want to go with a hair trigger or full analog, no problem at all. We can do it with the left or right. And it's a good looking handheld. You can go with the white version. It's going to have Windows out of the box, but you can always install SteamOS on it if you want to. Personally, I do like the white version over this Nebula color, but that's just personal preference. You might like this one much better. Taking a look at the Legion Go S compared to the Steam Deck OLED, and in the past, I mean, people did complain about the Steam Deck being bulky and heavy. When it comes down to it, with all of these newer large screen handhelds hitting the market, the Steam Deck is feeling on the lighter side now because the Go S is heavier. It's coming in a bit thicker, but one thing you got to keep in mind here is we do have a larger battery and a bigger screen with the Go S. Plus, if you opt for that Z1 Extreme version, it's going to put down a lot more power than the Steam Deck can. When it comes to the overall specs of the version we have here, like I mentioned, we've got that AMD Ryzen Z1 Extreme. 8 cores, 16 threads, and this APU is based on Zen 4. It's got a base clock of 3.3 gigahertz with a boost up to 5.1. We've also got that RDNA 3 based 12 compute unit iGPU that'll clock up to 2700 megahertz. The Z1E version comes with 32 gigs of RAM, and if you went with the Z2 Go version, it's only going to have 16. And another change here is we've got faster RAM at 7500 megatransfers per second, as opposed to the Z2 Go's version running at 6400 megatransfers per second. This also comes with a larger drive out of the box, 1 terabyte. It's a 2242, but there's room in here for a 2280. They just use a little adapter for this thing, so it's easily upgradable. We've got an 8-inch 120 hertz VRR display at 1200p, so it's a 16 by 10 aspect ratio, 100% sRGB, up to 500 nits of brightness, and the Steam Deck screen does beat this out because it's a beautiful OLED, but with this, we get that larger 8-inch display. It's got Wi-Fi 6E, Bluetooth 5.3, a 55.5 watt-hour battery with 65-watt fast charging capabilities. And of course, this is running SteamOS, but you could go vice versa with it. If you wanted to install Windows, it would also work here. I mentioned that I've run into some issues here, and the first one being RGB. So you can see that it's working, and that's because I installed a third-party plugin. I've installed Decky here, and I've got HueSync ready to go, so it does work with the RGB on the Legion Go S. But with the stock firmware at the time of launch, if you go into desktop mode and then come back out, RGB shuts off, and Valve did push a patch to their preview channel. I think it's 3.79, yeah, 3.79. Legion Go S, RGB stops functioning in desktop mode. Can't bring it back out of there, so I had to install this third-party plugin, and even with that update, it's still not working correctly. Next issue I have here is the trackpad completely stopped working, and sometimes it'll come out of it, but I think it's all due to the controller firmware. And hopefully we get an update for this because there's another issue that I've run into, and I don't know if a lot of people are going to have this issue because it does take kind of a certain key combination to bug the system out. But at the top, we've got our LED indicator, and if we press our menu button and Y, we can change our performance mode. That LED also changes, indicating what performance mode we're into. And since we've got that kind of hotkey, I figured there might be another one for changing the RGB. So I held the menu button and messed around with it for a little while. But with that D-pad, you can see that it kind of messes everything up. We start getting our brightness control, volume control from using the D-pad after holding that button. And sometimes it does this. You'll see we can't back out of it. And even sometimes it'll just go black screen, reboot. And once it reboots, after messing around with this little key combination that not a lot of people are going to do, the trackpad works. So it's all controller firmware here that needs to be updated. So with that out of the way, I'll give you a quick look. We've got that AMD Ryzen Z1 Extreme, 8 cores, 16 threads, and out of the box it looks like a little over 12 gigs is dedicated to the iGPU. But from the BIOS, with recent firmware updates, we can go up to 16 gigs dedicated. Checking out our performance menu here, we've got our overlay. We can go all out with it. I mean, we've got a lot of cores, so it does take up a lot of space. But when it comes to our power profiles, we've got a low power mode, which is going to be a 10 watt TDP. Balanced is 15 watts. And once we change it from here, our LED up top is also going to change. Performance is a 25 watt TDP. And we've got a custom mode. So if I go to custom, we'll have to move down a bit to our TDP control. On battery, we can do up to 33 watts. While it's plugged into the wall, we can do up to 40. And we've also got manual iGPU control, and this will go up to 2700 megahertz. For the most part, I've just been in balanced and performance mode, depending on what game I'm playing here. And at 25 watts, I mean, the Z1 Extreme performs absolutely amazingly, even at 15 watts, but I do think that they can do a little more tweaking here to get better performance at 15 watts with this device. Now it's time to check out some gaming on this thing, and the first one we have is Cyberpunk 2077. We're at 800p Steam Deck preset, balanced, so we're at a 15 watt TDP. This is how you usually run it on the Steam Deck, except we've got the frame limiter unlocked. Over on the Steam Deck, we're usually at 30 FPS, but with it unlocked on the Steam Deck, we can achieve an average of around 44. Looks like we're a little over that, and I do think these power profiles need a little more tweaking. And another thing I'd love to see here from the built-in SteamOS settings is the ability to disable CPU boost. So in balanced mode, it kind of looks like it may disable it because at 15 watts, when we're stressing out 8 cores and 16 threads, we're not going to reach 5.1. It has a base of 3.3, and that's totally fine for a lot of games out there. But the Z1 Extreme is a bit more happier with some more wattage thrown at it, and in performance mode, we're now at a 25 watt TDP, same setting, so 800p Steam Deck preset, we're over 60 FPS on average. This is without frame gen, and if you want to take the resolution up, frame gen is something that I personally like using on a device like this. We can get over 80 FPS on average, 1200p frame gen on with these same settings at a 25 watt TDP. While we're here, I figured we'd test out the D-pad in SteamOS, and I figured it's going to perform just like the other one with Windows installed. It's not bad, but I personally don't like the feel of it. It's actually a pretty good D-pad for fighting games, but I do feel like I kind of get caught on the edges. That's really the only thing I don't like about it. But yeah, pulling these moves off is really easy on this thing, and it is more of a dish style. Some people do prefer this. I would love a traditional D-pad, but the way they've got it set up, it isn't horrible. I just kind of wish it had smoother edges. Next up, we've got Doom: The Dark Ages, no frame gen, so we're at 800p, performance mode, low settings, and I'm seeing an average of around 54 FPS. Indoors, it does go over 60. See an average in there around 66, but for the most part, you'll be outdoors, messing around, lots of characters on screen. It isn't horrible. I actually thought it was going to perform worse than this. And again, there are ways to get much better performance out of this if you don't mind using FSR frame gen. But with this variable refresh rate display, playing it like this is really smooth. I also wanted to test out Spider-Man 2, and right now we're at 1200p, low settings, FSR frame gen on. With this game, I mean, if you want to go over, 720p or 800p, given that we've got a 16 by 10 aspect ratio display, frame gen is a must going over 60. And I'd say dropping the resolution down just a bit would help out tremendously with this game. But at 1200p with frame gen on and this VRR display, I'd say it's a really good experience. Now it's time to test out some low TDP gaming. This is going to be great for 2D and indie games. We've got Shredder's Revenge. I'm at a 5-watt custom TDP. And if you take a look on screen, we've got our total battery draw. We're under 9 watts. And this is going to give us a good idea of what kind of battery life we can see out of this device. I've also gone through and tested at that balanced 15-watt preset and performance 25-watt preset. We've got a 55.5 watt hour battery here. Through the testing, screen brightness was at 50%, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth was on, but RGB was off. 5-watt custom preset for indie and 2D gaming. Average draw from that battery is around 8.9 watts. That's around 6 hours of runtime out of this thing. 15-watt TDP with AAA Gaming, drawn 25 watts from the battery, 2 hours and 20 minutes. And in performance mode at a 25-watt TDP with AAA Gaming, does jump on up. It's drawn 37 watts in total. That's around 1 hour and 30 minutes. So first impressions, it's a comfortable handheld, and I said that since the Z2 Go version release. Button layout, really nice. Those Hall-based analog sticks, Hall-based triggers around back work great. I personally don't like the feel of the D-pad, but it's really nice for fighting games. I mean, it's way better than I ever thought it would be. I think Valve needs a little more time to get the power profiles correct on this thing, because I know at a 15-watt TDP we can see better performance. We've tested official SteamOS on other Z1 Extreme powered devices in the past, and one thing I could do is install a third-party TDP adjustment tool. That way I could really tweak and see what's going on with it. But it does look like at that balanced profile, 15-watt TDP, the balance between the wattage going to the GPU and CPU just needs to be tweaked a bit. But that's going to wrap it up for my first look video at the Z1 Extreme Powered Legion Go S with SteamOS. If you're interested in seeing anything else run on this device, let me know in the comments below. And if you want to learn a little more, I'll leave some links in the description. About 4 days, I'll have a full review on this thing. Hopefully they do update that controller firmware by then. But if you've got any questions, let me know in the comments. And like always, thanks for watching.